Just look at this rose. My Lady of Shalott is ready to perform and put the wonderful first flush of flowers very soon, maybe in a week or so. We had a very successful season so far with no aphids. I saw several aphids here and there, so far no aphid invasion. And my Lady of Shalott is ready. I see all these fat, beautiful buds, and the performance will be here maybe in a week or so. So I'm all anticipating and waiting. And meanwhile, we have a rose here and there starting to pop up. Beautiful. So today I'm going to walk with you and will update you on new roses which I planted this year, how they're doing, and will show you this future burst which is going to happen in my garden. I will show you all these beautiful, wonderful buds. And when I turn around from my beautiful Lady of Shalott, what do I see? Just look at this. This is my generous gardener. And truly, if you are hesitating to rejuvenate a bush, especially the climbing rose, which has more growing mass, do not hesitate. Last year I went in and I took down to the ground half of this bush. And look at this performance. It's going to bury this arch. This arch is what, 10, 11 feet high? And there are two generous gardeners on both sides. And look, this is going to be some performance this year. Generous gardener has an exquisite scent. And a very healthy rose. Just look at all the buds. I think this would be the best performance of this rose ever of its life. She's ready to close down that path, which I feel reluctant to cut all those stems because they all have blooms. So when they finish blooming, I will cut them back. But look, very pretty. Can't wait for this rose to open up. Here, my shy rose, Vanessa Bell, is opening her beautiful, soft flowers. This is her second year of performance in my garden. She has beautiful, soft yellow blooms, and look at all the wonderful buds. She's a very shy rose, has very long buds. You see these little fuzzy little things. And she has this very pushy neighbor. I have to make sure that I push this Japanese holly away from my rose. You see how she doesn't want to grow into this space here? She wants to reach the sun. And here we have our babies. Two babies are Olivia Austin rose, prime space for them here. Sun from the morning till 4 in the afternoon, then they have afternoon shade. all sorts of protections. And look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 buds on each rose. Beautiful. When I was planting these roses, people were telling me that Olivia Austin is a very powerful bloomer. And I thought to myself, maybe I will get a bloom or two. We'll see how this rose is doing. But look, it's unbelievable. And buds are very fat. So roses are going to be big, I suspect. The blooms are going to be big. This is the first year. These Olivia Austins arrived to my garden this spring as bare root. I planted them together approximately, I would say 1.5 feet, 18 inches apart. And I'm going to train them as one big magnificent bush here. And if I need to add another one eventually to make it more deep of a size, I will do so. Now let's go and check the front of my garden. There are beautiful baby roses blossoming there too. And meanwhile, I will show you around. Ooh, a season of strawberries. My wonderful azalea is performing here without any supplemental watering in the shade with a strange trimming schedule because we need a path here. All right. Now, when we come to the front, you will see another beauty. I believe it was no, it wasn't first rose. I bought it 4 years ago. And it's a very slow starter in my garden. Just look at my hostas meanwhile. Look at these giants. So back to my David Austin rose. She's right there. She is Boscobel rose, and I remember when I saw a picture of Boscobel rose, and I fell in love with her blooms. She's a very beautiful bloomer, very slow in my garden. So this year, this would be her best performance so far. Shy rose, I would say. She's sharing space here on the side of my property with a lot of wonderful Nepeta. And Nepeta wanted to conquer the territory here. I had to restrain it. So this is Boscobel rose, 3-year-old, having plenty of blooms, very beautiful blooms. I'm going to show you once she starts blooming here. I love Nepeta. Just look at this strength of color. My vegetable beds here. We do have zucchinis and peas coming here right in the middle. I planted another zucchini and somebody ate it. So I'm replanted another zucchini here and I would need to screen this area. Let's go and look at my sages here. This is my sage. First year also in the garden. It's a perennial. Oh, very healthy here. Oh gosh, I thought this video would be a video about roses. This is Mr. and Mrs. Honeyberry. I planted them in the middle of my lawn. Unusual solution, I know. But let's go to the front, in front of my windows, and let's see what my beautiful Queen of Sweden rose doing. And you know what? The best way to show you Queen of Sweden would be from my steps. Queen of Sweden is in my garden for 4 or 5 years, and I installed another row of Queen of Sweden here, so I have altogether, I would say, 6 roses now in the front here. And look at them, they are getting ready. I love the color of Queen of Sweden. And near Queen of Sweden, we have Nepeta, which flopped because the sun here to the side of the house comes after 11. And here, look at this, what I've got here. This is Eden Rose. You see the strong, beautiful shoots Eden Rose is creating? I'm very happy with her performance. Eden Rose is a climber, and for the bigger gardeners, just in case you are expecting blooms from your climber first year after you planted it, don't. Climber cannot even blossom the second year, because usually climbing rose creates long canes first year, and then second year on those canes the lateral shoots come, and those lateral shoots will produce beautiful blooms. So I'm not expecting my Eden Rose to create any surprise blooms for me this year. I'm expecting her to create wonderful shoots, which she's doing, you see right here. And that shoot would be trained. I'm planning to do some sort of a contraption here for her to climb. My peony is just coming into its glory. Look how beautiful it is. So here is my side flower bed, and in the middle of it I planted 5 roll dull roses with the idea that I'm going to train them as one shrub. And you know what happened? There is another viewer of this channel who went ahead and together me and him bought and planted 5 roll dull roses. And he told me when he received his roses, one of his was mistaken Olivia Austin rose. And I listened to him and I thought to myself, I never checked my tags on all of my 5 roses when I received them. So sure enough, suggestion for beginner rosarians: don't repeat my mistake and check all your tags on your roses, especially when you're receiving bundles of roses. Make sure that you check all the tags, because mistakes do happen. And sure enough, one rose, I will show you particularly, is this one. This rose came up very sickish looking. You see these leaves? That's how that rose looked all over from the very beginning. And usually that's how iron deficiency looks on roses, when there are veins on the rose and the leaves don't have green color. And I thought to myself, it can be either a different rose because it was coming very pale green, or it can be that this rose is really damaged. There is some sort of a deep wound either on the stem or on the roots, and this rose either will go 2 ways: either will slowly die or will heal itself. And looks like this rose is slowly healing itself. I don't think it will be blooming this year, but it's okay. And David Austin Company is very good at acknowledging their mistakes or shipping mistakes, and they will reimburse or send another rose. But then again, that's another year of being lost. Again, Nepeta is basking here happily. Now here on the fence, we do have 2 generous gardeners, young climbers. They're going to produce also a magnificent show here. Now there are 3 more roses growing here at the back. Here we have Shropshire lads, which are doing okay. One is doing much better than the other. And oh gosh, that's not a way to protect my rose. Oh gosh, I'm just looking at this. I have to put the cage around it. So the Shropshire lad arrived into my garden very sickish looking. And one recuperated much faster than the other. As you can see, I'm going to build, this is a very open space here, and I'm going to build a strong frame here for my Shropshire lads to climb. They are fairly short climbers, up to 8 feet. Again, different roses, different climbers depend differently, behave differently in different climates, but that's what the standard is, 8 feet for these guys. And of course, my replanted rose, look, bounced back all right. We have these bleeding hearts here, take over all this territory. But bleeding hearts are going to recede in 2-3 weeks. Bleeding hearts are going into dormancy very soon. As you can see, they're creating wonderful seed pods here, and they're going to dormancy. But here we have Desdemona rose, and Desdemona rose is of charming whitish color, and she's also producing long stems and beautiful blooms. Oh gosh, look at this. And I never cut it off. Okay, time to weed here in this side of the garden, you know. All right, so this is what's going on in front of my garden. Everything is moving along just fine. Looking forward to my blooms. Happy gardening. I will see you next time.